You getting words from Mike F?
No, I'm not sure about Mike. I'm not sure where he is.
Is there a recorder ready?
Going here. So I'm up and running.
Just in time.
Go.
I'd like to call the January 21, 2026 meeting of the Allenstown Planning Board to order. And first order of business is pledge of allegiance.
I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States and to the republic which is one nation under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Roll call.
Kathleen Pelletier, Joanna Rush,
Chad Pelletier.
Caitlin Sheridan,
Michael Grantke.
And Mike Amira admin, and we also have with us tonight.
Clint Benachat. Will Van.
Thank you. And currently we have nobody online.
Yep. All right. We're missing, we're down one voting member, and it's your turn, Peter. Are you willing to serve as a voting member tonight?
yes,
Okay.
Thank you. Old business, anybody have any old business to bring up, revisit? Seeing none, we'll move right into the new business. And,
All right.
Gentlemen.
Yep.
Right here with a request
So,
for.
yep, so just to introduce it, Pemmy Properties in New Hampshire plans to convert the remaining approximately 1,350 square feet of commercial space at 2 Bartlett Street on the first floor of the existing building into 2 one-bedroom residential units as shown on the architectural plans that were submitted to the planning board, and are requesting a waiver from site plan review in accordance with the Town of Allenstown Site Plan Review Regulations, Article 3B.4. And with that, we'll turn it over to you.
Well, thank you.
Or we can move right to questions.
Good evening again. My name is Will Reddington. I'm attorney at Lovely Sarah Peters in Manchester, New Hampshire. I'm here on behalf of Pemmy Properties New Hampshire LLC. The principal of Pemmy Properties is here with me, Clint Sonchek. And what you just articulated is exactly what we're looking for. We're looking for a waiver from site plan review to convert the remaining commercial space at the property to 2 residential units. These would be 2 one-bedroom residential units. And for some background, I recognize some faces here. I was here about 2 years ago applying for a similar waiver.
December 2023.
Exactly, December 2023, right? So that's when the notice of decision was issued in that. And so this board granted us a waiver for the other commercial space that existed on site, and we converted that into 2 bedroom units. And now we're looking to convert the rest of the commercial space into 1 bedroom unit. So currently, as situated, this building has 8 units. This will bring the number up to 10, and there will be no more commercial space on site. We think this is bringing the building into greater conformity with the residential zone where it is located. These units will be designated units 9 and 10. 9 will be approximately 623 square feet, and unit 10 will be 626 square feet, and that's shown on the plans we provided with this board. Does anyone not have copies? I brought some extras if anyone.
There's a package right there, Allison, if you want to grab one right here on the table. Yeah, let's pick up one of those.
Thank you.
I'll take the whole pack.
Well, yeah.
Pick the other pages as well. There you go. So just for clarification, I'm sorry, 10 units total now, if the waiver is granted?
If the waiver is granted, yes.
It'll be 10 units.
Correct.
Okay. Okay.
Thank you. And so with this project, similar to the last project, there won't be any changes to parking or curb cuts, sidewalks or landscaping on site. We're not doing, the only outside improvements that we're adding will be a 5 by 30-foot deck on the front of the building, which faces Turnpike Street, and that is to provide egress to the additional units. We don't expect any traffic impact from this conversion. We believe the 2 one-bedroom apartments will have a less traffic impact compared to the commercial office that was existing there prior. That required 6 parking spaces. The new residential units will only require 2 each. So as I mentioned before, we have, if this waiver is granted, we'll have 10 units in total. And per Allentown zoning ordinance, that only requires 10 parking spaces. So
Yeah.
that is.
How many do you have in total?
So I actually just drove out there today. We got 20 spaces.
Yeah. Okay, because the ones in the front of the building concern me. The ones on the Turnpike. Okay, we repaved that road this year,
Mhm.
and in repaving that road, what appears to be one of the granite mounds
Mhm.
is in the middle of the parking lot. So if that truly is the corner lot, or the corner marker for that, that whole front parking lot is not on your property. It's not, it's within the road layout.
Okay.
So, I mean, we can, if you want me to continue at this point, that's where my concern of the waiver is that we don't actually know where the property lines are. We didn't the last time either,
Mhm.
and there was some discretion between the side property line going up Bartlett Street and that front corner lot. Now, knowing that, we're spending a bunch of time out there when we redid that road, and I'm the road agent in town, so, it concerns me whether or not.
How many parking lots are on the road?
As probably 6 out front. So it's not so much that you might not even be within it. I think it would be good to know where the property really is.
So I do remember that being a concern the last time,
Mhm.
and how this board, I guess, remedied that, and they had to, I believe I provided some pre-existing plans that were recorded at the registry.
What was recorded at the registry was a boundary line agreement between the owner at that time and the person next door,
Which was a side border.
which was a side, did not address the front, right?
Okay, I do remember the applicant, giving a presentation, finding the room, and that did satisfy this board the last
It
time,
did,
so-
yes.
Okay,
Yeah, but Chad brings up a good point. To grant the waiver, you must meet the requirements. One of the requirements you must meet is parking, right? So if you have 10 or more parking spaces, none of which are potentially in the right of way or the easement, then it would be the board's discretion. It would meet the requirements of the ordinance, and it would be then the board's discretion whether to move forward with that.
And I just know that the front one, that's the only one I found. I have no idea where the one going up Bartlett Street is. So I don't know if it eliminates any of the parking on that side block or around off Bartlett Street.
Mhm.
So it just, my only concern is the numbers. You know, we've run into some of so to give you a little history, 20 years ago, they redid that bridge. And when the state redid the bridge, they built the bridge next to the old bridge. And it changed a lot of the road layout. It actually moved Route 3 to the left 2 travel lanes. So it gave a lot of room in the road layout that the state has on the Chester Turnpike side of everything. So everything kind of shifted with it. So there's a lot of property down there that is state property, but has been used by not only you guys, but even up the road more. We found it with the car dealership years ago when they wanted to do it on the corner. They thought they had room and the road layout was a foot from the building. So there were some issues, and I just want to make sure that something that doesn't happen in the future, and we're granting something that could possibly be a problem. That's all.
That granite monument that you're talking about,
Mhm.
is that on the same boundary? Of the neighbor that did the boundary line agreement?
So the one that I'm talking about is it's right at the corner, it's next to the sidewalk.
Mhm.
Right at the corner of Bartlett and Turnpike, or Chester Turnpike. I don't know where, I tried to find the one going towards Pembroke down the road, I could not find that one. Cause it just drew my attention after, and I couldn't find any of the others, so I didn't know where the others were.
Because if that's the same one that's on the same side as the boundary line agreement. The boundary line agreement will supersede any of the previous boundaries, meaning that granite monument might remain, but it might not be.
So I think the boundary line agreement is on this corner of the property. In the marker that I can find it on this. Yeah. It's just as Bartlett region of the.
Hey, Mike.
Yes, Matt?
Just a couple quick questions for yourself. Matt from the Planning Commission, for the people who are there for the applicant. I was at another meeting, so sorry I'm late. But a couple quick questions I had. Is there going to be a change in the square footage at all, like construction or increase of impervious at all? I heard you guys talking about parking, but is there going to be an increase in impervious?
No, the only, I guess, if you want to call it an improvement, we will be adding will be a shallow deck, which will be on the front of the building, which will provide egress for the residential units. That's approximately 150 square feet.
Okay. And then the second question is, site plan regulations are triggered, or site plan review, with a change of use. It's currently commercial, right? The spaces you guys are looking at,
Yes, historically. that's
and you want
commercial.
to change them to residential.
Correct. It's an existing mixed use building, so the rest of the building is residential.
Right, but the units currently there are commercial. That the
It
spaces
switch
you're looking at.
automatically.
Yeah, absolutely. We're converting space into residential space. Nothing more.
The sound's coming from behind now. Sorry, it didn't pick up automatically for some reason.
Okay.
And just for clarification, that was also the same thing last time. It was commercial
Okay.
units being switched to residential.
Okay.
Absolutely. It was
This time there will be no more commercial left there.
Correct.
So last time we were changing some of the use of the building, but there was still some commercial use. Now there'll be no commercial use left, so it's a total.
So I just to throw a third thing in, it might help the conversation a little bit on the parking side of things. Have you taken a look at the parking requirements to see what the change in requirement might be to go from that commercial space to the residential? Like, will that increase or decrease your parking requirement?
It won't change it at all. The minimum,
won't, okay.
no, the maximum that the town can require now is one parking space per residential unit. That's
Yes, that
by
is
state
correct.
law. So,
Yep.
it appears there are enough parking spaces currently on site.
Okay. So in essence, it could actually decrease the number of parking spaces. Maybe.
Yes,
I don't.
I think it does increase because the parking requirements for commercial space is based on the approximate square footage of the
Yes.
commercial space. And I believe
Yep.
100 square feet per each unit is 200.
Yeah.
200 square feet of commercial space.
Right.
That constitutes one requirement
Yeah.
on parking space. So it's roughly 1,200 square feet that commercial space requires 6 parking spaces. So for the requirement is going down by 4.
Matt, did you hear my concern?
I did. Yeah.
Okay. I didn't know
So
where you came in, so.
Chad, I got the tail end of that. Were
Okay.
you more concerned with, was it more like where people were parking as opposed to like the number?
No, so my concern was, is we redid the Bartlett Street this summer. And
Yeah.
in the reconstruction, we found one of the monuments by the sidewalk in the front. And I believe
Okay.
it to be a corner monument on the corner of Bartlett and Chester Turnpike.
Okay.
But not knowing for sure, it just appears to be a granite bound in the pavement. And if that granite
Oh,
bound,
like
yeah,
they sunk it to grade and just
and
kind of
tape
that was it.
around it, yep.
Oh
So
my
if,
goodness.
and if
Okay.
that truly is a granite bound, then the
Mhm.
parking in the front of the building, for the most part, is not in the inside the property, it's actually in the road layout of the state.
Oh, okay. So is it safe to say, just throwing it out there, that all parking spaces that may be required are on site
Mhm.
entirely?
Well, and that's my question, right? I just don't know for
Yeah.
sure, and I couldn't find any of the other bounds. So without the site plan, without a,
Without a survey with the delineated locations. Yeah.
right, I just don't know. I
Mhm.
mean, there might be, even eliminating those front parking spots, there might be, I think there's more than enough parking in the back.
Mhm.
But then we still have snow storage issues and all of that, because that was all out front as well. And I don't know what it might eliminate from the sidewalk from parking. So
Okay.
those were my concerns without
Okay.
a survey.
So basically, yeah, I could see that, to see that they're located fully on the lot,
Right,
whatever the number might be, that they're fully located on the property.
right, yeah, and I mean, and that was
Okay.
my concern last time too, but
Yep. Yeah.
Well, I remember we did address this last time in this board, granted the waiver because we're not changing anything to the site. We're not moving that parking, we're not, well, sorry, we're not proposing to move that parking. And we're not changing anything to the existing site. It will remain that. I'm not aware of any issues. Have you received any notices that you're over your boundary or? And as I understand it,
but I don't think you would unless the state had an issue. Right, I mean, I don't think that would be, but if the state decides to do something next week, then there's. I mean, that's where the issue lies, and that's where that's my sole concern is to, just to make sure that everything falls on the property. And it's nothing, it's that whole section of road and everything that's come through the planning board or the zoning board on that section of road has had lot line issues because they think there's property. And when the state redesigned all that, I mean, at the subway at the corner, they put the curb in, they put a ton of parking spots in it. But when the survey came, because the building sold, literally the property line was a foot from the corner of the building. You know what I mean? So we couldn't count those parking spots as on property because they're not on the property. They're just parking spots that state built on the side of the road. So that's only my concern with it, I mean, I just want to make sure it's right for people, and I hate to have anybody spend money on surveys or anything like that, but.
so I think that, even if we were to take those out of the equation, those front parking spaces, really parking on the site would still be adequate. There's still, 12 or 14, sorry.
Yeah, I thought on that turnpike side, there was 6. That's what I. Now again,
Yeah, no,
there's no like lines there, but
Right.
generally that's,
yeah,
you know,
I would have guessed 5, but 6 might be even the right number, yeah.
so that's where I.
So
Right.
the requirement for us, if you were to grant this waiver, would be 10. And there's more than adequate space for 10 spots. Not counting this space. That's probably, so.
All right, does anybody have any concerns other than parking, or does anybody else have any input on the parking matter?
I feel like because there's no exterior changes being made, that we can rely on the same review that we did with parking. His letter says that, there's 22 parking spots, he said 20 tonight, but even if you remove those flyers, it doesn't sound like they're still adequate enough. with this application specifically, I don't know if it matters whether their boundary line with the state is controversial or not, that doesn't impact what they're seeking to do. I realize that impacts like a site plan review, but not specifically what they're looking to do to convert people.
Sure.
That's my comment.
Yeah, I agree with Kate on that. I mean, it's the parking issue and the boundaries are real matters. And it may come up rear its head at some point. But whether you come to us with this waiver request tonight or not, that doesn't change that, that still exists. And since the actual parking requirements may go down, if this grant is waived, or this waiver request is granted, that, and the fact that it's questionable whether or not a site plan is triggered or site plan review. I mean, I understand the part that you're changing use, I mean, that's a very clear point. In the statute, and if that held true, there's still a waiver in Article 9, you could request a waiver to that anyways. But the fact, the argument you make that it's chiefly a residential building, you're not really changing the use, the chief use of that building by converting the studios over to apartments. And so therefore, I don't see this as an appropriate vehicle to remedy the parking lot line situation. And I would like to hear a motion to move to approve the waiver request.
So moved. I second.
Second. Okay. Any further comment for both?
I'm in agreement. I understand Chad's point, but to me, it does seem like overall it's decreasing the parking burden on the property. And ultimately, they have, spaces without, so. To me, it seems like it's something that could potentially rear its head in the future, but it doesn't affect the conversion of those.
We need to stipulate that questionable parking space should be eliminated from the plan.
No, it's beyond the scope of this request.
And you said, you had mentioned snow removal, just, I wanted to, give you where we have it, at least in the top. So the side, so turnpike here, catty corner to where you were talking.
Okay.
There's a green space 20 by 20, so the plow comes in from Bartlett perpendicular and pushes onto that. So I guess what I'm saying is we don't use any paved area for snow.
So who does your snow removal? You don't do it in-house.
No,
They put it on the sidewalk. I constantly blow it on the sidewalk back to
on the Bartlett side or
on the turnpike side. I constantly blow it off the sidewalk and put it onto back into the parking spots. But that's neither here nor there. Had I known, or had I really been a huge issue, I would reach out to you. So, but I totally agree. I think there's more than enough parking on the spot. If it was my property or one of my properties, I would want to know where the property lines are. I would definitely, I'd want the site plan done and I'd want it registered with the registry of deeds. But I'm a different property owner. So.
Okay, can we have a roll call vote
So
on the motion?
before you do, Mr. Chairman, we should discuss conditions. So 2 proposed conditions would be that the waiver as requested by the applicant is granted. And the second one is that this notice of decision would be filed by the applicant at the Merrimack County Registry of Deeds and a copy provided to the planning board. And if anybody has any other changes to those conditions or any additional conditions, but I would like to make those part of the motion. Thank you.
Second,
Roll call vote.
Kathleen, I.
Joanna, I.
Mike, aye.
Caitlin Sheridan, I.
Mike J, aye.
And the motion passed and the waiver for request from site plan review is granted.
Thank you so much.
Thank you.
Thanks, Mike.
Thank you, guys. Have a good evening. Thank you.
It's supposed I'll receive an email from-
Yes, I'll send you an email. Yeah, I have your email address, so I'll send it to you. Yeah,
Thank you.
thank you.
Good.
All right. So, unapproved minutes.
Everybody have a
From
chance
December
to review the
17.
minutes, and does anybody have any comments?
I'll make a motion. Minutes from December 17, 2025. A second,
Roll call vote.
Kathleen, I.
One eye,
Aye.
keep the chair and abstain.
Mike J, aye. Correspondence, other business?
Yeah.
Allison Turcott, I understand that you're just not joining the board.
Anybody have any questions for Allison?
Do you have any experience with the town, volunteering for anything with the town, or working with the town, or representing?
So I'm experiencing that, plan on going back. That would help you find out what's going on for any various changes.
Well, the question that was asked of me is, why do you want to be on the planning board?
I've always enjoyed this and I wanted to get involved. in it.
All right,
Anybody else have questions? So with that, it's an appointed position which has to be appointed by the select board. So the planning board has to vote on a recommendation to the select board with a recommendation to appoint Allison as a member of the planning board.
all right. Well, I'd like to see a motion made to recommend that Allison be appointed to the planning board.
So moved.
Thank you.
Roll call vote.
Kathleen, I.
One eye,
Okay, bye.
keep the chair and eye.
Mike J, aye.
You have been recommended to be appointed to the planning board. The select board will be meeting on Monday and we will have your appointment request before them for consideration. So hopefully after that, I can let you know that you're appointed. And then I can start loading you up on all sorts of good reading. You may just resign when you see how much you have to learn. Excellent. Thank you. All right, thank you, Allison. Thank you. All right, so moving on, we do have a we do have a pending site plan application coming up for Armstrong Aggregate. This is to redo their application from, I think it was January 2024. Maybe later, but the one that the permit, they failed to pull a permit for in time. So they have to come back for a redo. So we're going to try and get that on the schedule for February 18th. All right, because I will not be able to get the public hearing notice out in time. Have to be out by tomorrow. I'm not ready for that. This will be for their second commercial building, yes. So this will be, yes, they already did zoning and they already did lot line application, so they only have to come back for a redo of site plan. All right. It's we know that to be true. Yes, this is true. So that will be February 18th. All right. Forgive me, but I'm still working on putting together changes, potential changes to the legislation, so I will have that for hopefully the next time. We talked about the former flood sand and gravel site. And the board decided to send a letter. We did send that letter in mid-December. We have not heard back yet. So how would the board like to proceed?
Give them the 30 days and.
You want to give them till February 18th and then discuss it again?
Well, I think they send them a letter and tell them that when they come in for their site plan application, they can bring us their permit application.
Yeah, or the reason why they don't need one,
Right.
right? Why they believe they don't need one.
Are they excavating right now? down for the winter?
I
I'm just wondering if it's
don't think that they're actually, I haven't heard anything, I heard they popped a couple, they lasted a little bit earlier before it got cold, and I haven't seen or heard anything since. So, I don't believe there's anything operating currently.
So what they need to do is submit an application to excavate.
Yeah, they would need to submit an excavation permit unless they have a valid reason for why they don't need to do so. So we have to know one way or the other. If you look at the regulations, it appears to be that you have to do it because there are two regulations. One is our own town reg, and the other is a state reg, which basically talks about change of ownership and the need to file an excavation permit, and that ownership permits don't transfer. So we need to understand.
It's in the RSA too.
Yes, that's correct. It's in the RSA's, yeah, Matt. So so we need to understand why they haven't done it, because they have not done it, or if they believe they don't have to do it, why they believe so, right? And then the board can make a decision from that point forward.
Yeah,
All
I
right.
think, and I remember when you discussed this, there's provisions in the statute for exemptions. And there's some question whether or not Hood was exempt. And I think you thought that Hood had a permit. Is there a way we can try and track that down to see whether or not we have a permit on record for Hood? It might be
Our,
helpful
our
to find that.
answers, I would think.
Yeah,
Evan should
yeah.
know.
Evan should know. We can reach out to him.
I mean, we're pretty diligent about 10 years ago, 8 years ago about going through them.
Yeah.
We made them, the first time they redid them, what, in 3? And then we put
Yeah.
them to, right?
Yes. So it's been a while.
And so, but we were pretty diligent in making sure we hit all of the
Yeah.
sand pits, the gravel pits in town, and make sure they had their permits.
Yeah.
Um,
I'll check with Evan on that and see if we have something on file.
Yeah, it might behoove us if we're gonna try to put more pressure on them to know for
Yeah.
sure that that's not a possibility.
And
Yep.
we actually toured them, if I remember correctly, or a lot of them. I think.
It was before my time. I've only ever toured the Allenstown aggregate site for their
I
site
know
plan
we did the one in
excavation.
Gilbert Road for advance. But anyway,
Yeah, well, I'll reach out to Evan and see. Unemployed excavation permit. Okay. All right. Impact fees. So by lots of quick work by both us, the town, and Central New Hampshire Regional Planning Commission, especially Matt Monahan, we got an agreement signed and in place before the end of the year, so we can actually move forward this year with looking into impact fees.
Yeah, and just to kind of recap on what that's going to involve. So a couple things. So you got to have a CIP in place. Check.
We do.
The other thing you got to do is you have to do a study that shows Allenstown is growing faster than the towns it abuts. So we have to do that. We have to look at the current ordinance on the books to see if we need to upgrade it. And the third thing is you have to do what's called the methodology. And basically what that's going to do is break down, here's what every application, for example, every single family home approved is going to pay X dollars, right? And those pieces kind of all work together. Impact fees, just highly speaking, are, they're spent for expansion of facilities as opposed to repair and maintenance, right? So a classic example is if, say, a hypothetical town has a school impact fee, they could spend to build a new wing on the school, but they couldn't fix the leaky roof with it. So, and
work in our favor here in town, because some of the big possibilities.
what's that?
Some of the big possibilities of properties that are coming into, that are that are coming on the market or have changed hands in town and that might be developed are actually all on roads without town services.
Oh, okay.
So this
So
is-
roads is probably something, I think generally it sounds like roads is something we should look
But
at
I'm
if that's
thinking
the
of water
case.
and sewer.
Oh, yeah, that too, because, yeah, I mean, and the conversation on sewer, it begs the question. I don't know. It may be worth me just talking to Carolyn over in Pembroke. If they have impact fees, right? I mean, the wastewater treatment plant, that's shared. So in theory, it may be worth a conversation with those guys too on that one issue. But yeah, yeah, those are examples of stuff, Chad nailed it, like with the expansion of those roads, they're all, in need of upgrade to accommodate growth. That's the key right there. Upgrade and expansion to accommodate growth. So, but yeah, those are the pieces that are involved, and that's kind of where we're at. I think the original ordinance and the original round of impact fees goes back to like 20 or 2003, I think, something like that. So,
Yeah, the ordinance has been on the books since 2003, so it
yeah.
definitely needs a look at to make sure it's up to date.
Yep. So, but yeah, that's kind of high level where it's at. So,
Mentioned was a study to show that Allentown is growing at a faster rate than neighboring communities. So
Yep.
looking at the housing that we've added over the past 5 years even, is that, do you know how far back you have to go? Would that be included in that? Like, how was that study conducted?
so we're gonna have to, I think that makes sense. 5 years is probably a good look back. And it's probably building permits, and it's been, it's been a while, but we can go back and take a look. But I think generally, something like that, there's a few ways you could probably look at it, but that could be a way to do it,
Okay.
and go from there. So, but yep.
All right, so more to come on that as we get up and running.
Yeah.
We'll figure out what needs to be done.
Yeah.
Um,
But we do have the CIP in place. We do have the ordinance in place. Just it may not need any tweaking at all, the ordinance. But we'll see once we get into it.
all right, and then we'll be looking for volunteers to be on the committee.
I will volunteer.
There's a 2-3 limit, right?
Yeah, right, yeah, right.
Huh.
Oh, we can make an exception. We can vote to make an exception, right? Yeah. Right. All right, nothing from the building inspector at the moment. Although there is a potential for some development up on Deerfield Road area. But too premature to talk about that yet. Right? Michael, go ahead.
Double decker convenience store and moved into the old crack store. Not a big sign at the boat. Couldn't see that. That happening. The Allen Plaza building is pretty much complete, and there's still, banners hanging off the dunking side of the building. So it looks really good. They have carriage lights on the building. Even in the Dunkin' store, at the back of the store, we got what sign is Allentown one of them. A new play out there. Well, I met somebody today who came from Utah. Because we didn't have anything before. The Fiesta de Substance is the new Overshot. And sign up things exactly the way the business manager, the graphic that he sent me for my story, which for some reason
has disappeared from the town website. Walk into the new app, Ocean. It's like I said, all you need is some of the dances from the Olympic commercial to make it look really good. You walk in and it's brightly lit. All the main aisles are kind of arrayed in a fan shape. And there are these large signs above every aisle that show brand names that they're selling. The air, seal. And very variety looking places. I just stood at the opening, just taking it all in. It's so much more feeling than the old school. Keep the store manager. Chat with him for a few minutes. So it's the new account, the new Overshot, and the new plaza across the street. Two best things that we've got going.
Making progress.
Don't they still have all the fasteners? Have all the fasteners in that aisle? Do they
Yes,
have
I
all
walk
that?
in, straight ahead, there's an island that's fasteners.
I know who bought the store, so if you can't find them, the other guy.
Yeah, I mean, I have this big bucket of fasteners in the garage, but sometimes I'm in a hurry. I don't have enough clear counter space to dump it off.
You mean it's faster to go to the store?
So I go out, I'm going to Overshot. You have that? Never mind.
The good story, the transition was a year or more ago. A guy named Spiro Athens, the developer from Guilford, he bought the Overshot property. Instead of leaving it alone, he decided to lease it to McDonald's. And then what happened was, in the summer, when Rite Aid went bankrupt, he bought the Rite Aid building and leased it to Overshot. So he saved our money.
Like,
Can you ask them to buy the bank across the bank across the street? Make it a bank again?
I'm hoping for three new businesses, a bank, a pharmacy, and a gun shop.
Yay.
And shooters is hard to beat.
Or
And it's hard to take a watch down to shooters.
That's it. So right now we're scheduled for February 4th. I guess Michael will keep an eye on that date. and see if we need to or not. Not right now. Not
Other than
right
minutes?
now. Other than minutes, we won't have anything.
So, yeah, we just have minutes.
Yeah,
Probably
probably cancel it.
cancel it.
Okay,
Time,
at the time.
but
So
something might come up.
I'll let you know. I'll let you know. And that's it, sir. That's all I got.
All right, anybody else? Okay, motion to adjourn. Okay,
So moved. A second,
roll call vote.
Kathleen, I.
Joanna,
I
I.
Mike J. Hyde.
And adjourned at 7:13. Thank you, everybody.
Good night, everybody.
Thank you.
Yep, we'll see ya.
See you,
Bye.
bye. Bye.